My name is Jeff Kirkland, and I work with Southern Pine Electric Cooperative. You might have seen the orange trucks through there. Well, those orange trucks are Southern Pine's orange trucks. We work on electricity. I want to raise your hand, and I'm going to call on you. Tell me something that electricity provides for you that you like. What's electricity like? What do you like? What? Lights. Gives you lights. Devices such as phones. It charges our phones. Yeah. Tablets. Power. Well, what kind of power? What does the power do for you?
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning. That's right. Televisions. Phones. It charges our phones. Our tablets. We don't play with tablets. But you know, sometimes we do. You know, and when the power is not there, what happens? You go into your room, you turn the light switch on. What do? Oh my goodness! You don't know how to act, do you? But you know, think about this: that when you're sitting down at night and it comes a big storm, when you're about to eat your dinner and the electricity goes off, someone has to leave their house and go out and fix that power for you in the middle of that storm. So when it's lightning and wind's blowing real hard, when your power goes off, somebody has to go out there and restore that power for you. So think about that. Think about somebody else. Sometimes we don't have patience for that. Everything now is so fast. You can get fast food, microwave stuff, anything that you want is fast. But sometimes power we have to wait a little bit to restore it because it takes a little while to get it right. And we're going to talk about things that can help keep you safe around electricity today. I'm going to use some things here today that's going to help protect me. What are these?
Gloves.
What are these gloves made of right here?
Rubber.
Rubber gloves. Now, you know about science, right? We all talked about that. Conductors and insulators, right? Right? Some of you have seen this before, right? So you should know these answers. So tell me, what is rubber? A conductor or an insulator? So we really don't know, do we? We got it is an insulator, okay? So does that mean the rubber on your shoes are insulators? But what if I took the power line like that? No. All right, but think about it. If I'm going to wear these to work on the power line, what's thicker? What is thicker? These or my shoe sole? These are thicker?
No.
Really? My shoe sole. So that means it's safer, right, to wear these shoes than these gloves. No, it doesn't matter. It's how it's made. It doesn't matter the thickness of these type things. Now, when you talk about power lines, I want everybody to look at me. Don't look away yet. On how many sides of you right now are power lines? Don't look around. Look at me. How many sides? 1, 2, 3, or 4 sides of you. How many sides of you are power lines? Some says 3. Says 1, 2. 1, 2. There are power lines right now on all 4 sides of you. Take a look over here. There are power lines running through there. Look behind you. Power lines. Look here in front of you. Power lines. Now, I know you can't see here, but there are power lines in front as well. All 4 sides of you are power lines because we get complacent around power lines. We don't think about it because they're always there, right? So we don't think about the power lines. We see them, we don't pay attention to them. So when you're outside and you decide to work up outside and put up a tent or build a hut or whatever you do outside, think about where's a power line. Let's find the power lines and let's get away from those before we do stuff. Okay? You think about that being not important. Well, everybody pays attention to that. No, several years ago there were some Boy Scouts that were putting up a big tent, and they were with some adults like me. None of us paid attention at that point. They were all busy in a hurry, and they built this tent. They had this tent with big poles in the middle, and they put those poles in that tent right up under the power line. And they went up into the power line, and it killed some of the boys and some of the adults working that tent. So think about that before you do anything like that. Sometimes we're adults, we get so busy, we might not pay attention. And you could say, hey Daddy, or hey Granddaddy, or Grandmother, or whomever, there's a power line over. let's move over here. Sometimes you can help us, or save a little brother or a little sister that may not pay attention, right? Now, we're going to talk about electricity through here. Now, we generate the electricity through here. These double pole structures are called transmission lines, right? They come into a substation which has big transformers. What does a transformer do? What's the purpose of a transformer? Hey, what? Nope. Hey, tell me, did you see the movie Transformers? No. Who saw the movie Transformers? In there, what did Transformers do? Did you see it? What did Bumblebee do? Transform. It transformed from a car to a giant robot. And then from the giant robot back to a car. Well, our transformers do the same thing. It transforms voltage from a high voltage to a low voltage. But let's say somebody hooked up a generator wrong inside their home, hooked it up wrong, it can take that small voltage and pick it back up to make a big voltage. Same way that it does in the movie Transformers, but except it takes voltage, high electricity voltage, brings it down and can step it back up. So it comes in through a substation, which has big transformers, comes through here distribution lines, it comes to a smaller transformer and goes and runs the house, lights inside your home. Y'all see that light in there? You see the light? All right, is it on or off? On. What about now? On. Now, can you see electricity flowing down those lines? You cannot see it, can you? All right, if you look over here to your left, you notice the power lines up there? Can you see electricity flowing through those power lines? You can't see it. So how do we know it's on? That power's off, right? Is it off? How do you know it's on? You don't know. You don't know. That's right. Can you hear the electricity flowing through that power line? You can't hear it. So again, we don't know it's on. Can you smell it? You can't smell it. You can't see it. You can't hear it. So we have to assume it's on, but we don't know. So if you ever come across and you see a power line that's down on the ground, what do? Do I walk up to it and try to fix it? You know, we laugh about that, right? Some of you snickered. You thought it was funny. But do you know, when I talk to preschoolers, do you know what they tell me? The number one thing they tell me to do when the blind is down, tell me what you think. They watch shows like Bob the Builder and Handy Manny, and you know what they say? Can we fix it? Yes, we can. Some of you have heard that saying, and they think that you go to fix it. The number one thing they tell me is, fix it. No, we don't want to fix it. You want to get away from it, and you want to tell someone. Why is that so important to tell someone? Why is it important? It could. But however, let's just say, I see it, but I'm going to get away and not tell anybody. So, what if your sister or your brother or your mom or dad or whoever didn't see it and walked up on it? What could happen to them? They could touch it and die. So we need to get it fixed as quick as possible. So you tell someone so they can call us, and so we can go out there and get that fixed. Okay? Now, so we know to stay away from it, right? But what if we're driving down the road? Now this is a bus. Now this is just a play toy, all right? But in actuality, you guys rode a bus here today, right? Or drove in a car. You don't have to be on a bus. You could be in a car, a truck, a van, anything, any kind of a vehicle. Driving down the road, all right, driving down the road, and all of a sudden, wham, you hit a pole, power lines down on a bus or on a car. It can happen just like that. Where do you guys go to school? Brewton? You know over there by the fire department? Down through that road? You know, right there near the road? Next time you go through there, look to your right or left. Those poles are so close to the road. Anytime, have you ever seen someone riding down the road, driving down the road, and they're doing this? You seen that? Yeah. All right. What about, do you have brothers or sisters? And you're driving, your mom or dad is driving, and they turn around and say, yo, kids, stop that fighting. Your kids, I know it probably don't happen in your car. So they can drive down the road and they say, you kids, stop that fighting, stop that playing. Just like that, they could swerve and hit one of those poles, and you can end up in a situation like this. Just that quick. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Call someone if you have a phone. Do you have a phone right now? So you couldn't call anyone right now. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you stay in or do you get out?
Oh, stay in.
Who thinks you should stay in? You should stay in. Okay? Well, not necessarily. Let's see what would happen if we decided to get out of that. Let's see what would happen if we decided to get out. Hey, is the power on or off?
On.
How do you know? Why is it sparking? What's happening? What's happening? Nothing really. So I can touch that bus. Let's see. You see what happens? Y'all see that? What's the electricity trying to do?
Trying to go to the ground.
It's trying to go to where? It's trying to go into the ground. Electricity is trying to go into the ground. And it is trying to take the easy path to the ground. Now why are you an easy path and you, and you and me? Why are we all an easy path? Well, but what is this?
Water.
What is our body made mostly of?
Water.
So impure water is a very good conductor of electricity. That makes you and me, very good conductors of electricity. So we are the easy path to the ground. So if we come up there and we touch that bus, or we touch a wire on the ground, if we touch that and the ground at the same time, then it can electrocute us and we can die. All right? So what do you do if you're on that bus? Stay on it. Stay on it. What happens if the bus catches fire?
Get out. No.
Then how do we do that? Who said that a minute ago? You did. Come up here for a minute. Ashton, show us what you were telling us a minute ago. All right, now what happens if we stay on the bus, unless it has to catch fire, then we have to get off the bus. Ashton's going to show us how to do that. All right? Ashton, first of all, that's right. Do that. Now why do you do that? It's not, you don't have to do that.
So you don't touch it.
But so you don't touch anything else. So that makes it important that we do that because it reminds us of what to do, not to touch something else. Now what else is he doing, Ashton doing with his feet? Now you're still on the bus yet. You're not off the bus yet. Notice his feet are together. His feet are together. And when you jump, what we're going to do is pour glue on your shoes and stick your feet together. Okay? So in other words, now you're glued, your feet are glued, so you can't separate them. Like, I did that the other day with a kindergartner, and she's like, oh no, I can't. It's not real glue, it's paper can glue. So in other words, what it does, it reminds you to keep your feet together. Right? So when you jump in the air and you land, you want to land with them together. Right? And you want to jump far enough, Ashton, so if you fall back and touch the bus, that would not be good because what you saw happen to that girl would happen to you. So Ashton, show us how to do that. Jump. Okay, now you see, notice that. Before you jump, Ashton, what else should we do? Now you have to be careful because if you fall back and you touch the bus, it's going to electrocute you. What else should we do before we jump? What should we do? Make sure there are no power lines. Great. Because there are lots of power lines sometimes. Sometimes there are 2, sometimes there are 12, sometimes there are 3 or 4. So it may be a lot of power lines depending on what you hit and where they are. There can be power lines. Sometimes when someone hits a pole, the pole doesn't go on the ground. The pole will be broken into 2 and 3 different places and the pole will sit back up. But the line may be this high off the ground. Who in here are this tall? Or taller? Stand up for a minute. So if you were there, walk to me. You see, if you were to walk, you would walk right into that power line. Okay? But the purpose is always look, because you could walk into that line or it could be another line on the ground. And Ashton don't want to jump out of the bus or vehicle and land on a different line. So you have to always make sure that you look. Now, Ashton has jumped off successfully. What else do we do when you're on the ground? Now show us something. Shuffle your feet. Slowly. Slowly. Because if you get in a hurry, you're going to separate them. Okay? So just slowly. Don't get in a hurry. And Ashton, as you're going, what else are we going to do while we're shuffling our feet? What are we going to do? We're going to be looking as well. Looking for power lines on the ground. Looking for something else off the ground. Because not only on the ground, you also have to look here and here and here. All right? That's it, guys. Thank you. Any questions about that?
My name's Rick. This is my wife, Christy. And this is our little daughter, Samantha. Okay, she's going to be helping us today with a few reenactments that we're going to be doing for you guys. Okay? So, by a raise of hand, who can tell me what a stranger is? The definition of a stranger. Somebody you don't know. That's plain and simple, somebody that you don't know. Being a stranger, it can be anybody that, like in movies, we'll use movies as an example, or TV shows. Sometimes they make strangers real creepy, okay? Like the stranger's trying to come hurt a kid, it's like a real creepy guy, or he's got drugs, or he's trying to sell, something to a kid and all that stuff. But like what he's saying, a stranger can be anybody you don't know. It could be a real nice dressed businessman, it could be a nice old lady, she seems like she's all real nice, or even a lady that could be a teacher, okay, that looks like, hey, that's probably a teacher, that type of stuff. Not teachers that you know, though. I'm talking about teachers that you might not know.
Oh.
Okay, so that is what a stranger is.
And a stranger can even be someone that you know a little bit, like your cousin's friend. Be like, well, I've seen him at his house before. Would we still consider him a stranger? Yeah, because you don't know him very well.
Okay. So the strangers we're wanting to talk to you about today are strangers that want to get something from a kid, whether that's hurt a kid, take pictures or videos of a kid, get personal information from a kid. Like, what's your full name? Can you tell me your social security number? Can you tell me where you live? Know your address? Do you know me? My name's Rick, right? Okay, that's the type of strangers that we're talking about, all right? Strangers have created traps for children based on what children do, how children are raised, because like children are raised by most of their parents to be polite, kind, right? Be respectful to adults, okay? So they will try to use that against you for being a kid. A few of these traps, we're going to go over some. Having fun, pretty simple, right? The promise of getting to have fun could be a trap that an adult tries to use against you. Being famous, that could be someone coming up to you and say, hey, I do a newspaper, like this guy back here with the camera, right? He's videotaping you and stuff. If you didn't know him, and he's like, hey, I want to videotape you, I'm going to interview you, ask you some questions, that kind of stuff. He could be trying to exploit you, means get some kind of information out of you, or just your video alone. Getting a job, that's the promise of, hey, I'll pay you if you come do this for me, okay? Bribing, that's similar to getting a job. It just means it's a promise of something else besides money. It's like, hey, if you come take this trash out for me, I'll give you a hamburger. That's a bribe. It's something for something. Emergency, we'll go over that in a little bit. You should be able to see that pretty easily. Like, hey, that's what an emergency would be. Threats, there are adults that might try the threat route of just threatening you. They might see you on the side of the road. They pull up to you and say, hey, I want you to get in the car with me right now. You're like, I'm not getting in the car. It's like, well, if you don't get in the car, I'm going to go kill your whole family.
What?
Okay. Look, you might laugh. That has been done to kids, and kids have entered into cars and driven off with them. Okay. Adults will try to use their like, the size of them, the anger of them, all that kind of stuff. They'll try to scare you into situations like that. In a threatening situation, I'll tell you this right now, I would run and get out of that situation as a kid if I were you, okay? The way to look at this, if it's a realistic threat, this guy wants to do something to you. If you run, now he has to try to catch you, okay? Got another kid that was sitting in before you guys said, well, what if he has a gun? Good chance if he has a gun and he's going to take you, he might kill you anyway, okay? The reason why I'm talking about this kind of stuff to you, we work with Anonymity Rescue. Okay, we actually rescue kids, and mostly it's girls, out of human trafficking situations. Okay, we work with law enforcement all across the United States, and a lot of this stuff we're telling you is how these kids got in situations. We've had girls that someone pulled over on the side of the road, said, "Get in the car, I'm going to go kill your brother," and they got in the car. And it took us years to be able to even find them again. Okay, that's why I'm saying, if you're near a house that you know, run to that house. Be like, someone's got a gun. Hey, someone's threatening me. Someone's doing this, and get an adult that you know to help you out in that situation. Okay, do not get in the car with them. Okay, because it's going to be hard to locate you if that happens. Going over affection.
The affection trap is probably one of the biggest traps that we see used. And it's like a stranger who we talked about, maybe you don't know at all or maybe just know a little bit, who shows you affection, which affection is a good word, right? But maybe you don't get a lot of it at home, and we all like attention. We all like to be loved, right? Or to be told that we're beautiful or really good at sports or those type of things. So if a stranger comes up to you and starts trying to develop a relationship and tell you these nice things that we love to hear and we really want to be loved, let that be a red flag, okay? So you would go tell your parent, an adult that you trust. So be aware of that if a stranger tries to get you in that way. Don't fall prey to that, because that would be real tempting to be like, oh, this person, finally somebody appreciates me for who I am or for what I do, but don't fall for that, okay?
We will not be acting this one out, but authority, we're going to go over authority for a minute. So who gets to stay at home by themselves sometimes? Like no parents, you just get to hang out at the house by yourself. Okay. So say you're at the house by yourself and you got a knock on the door and it's a pest control guy, right? Guy that sprays the houses for bugs and stuff. He's like, hey, I need to come in and do pest control for you. Okay, what would you do? Would you let him in?
No.
Are you just saying that because I'm up here?
I wouldn't at the door. My mom
Like your mom says what?
My mama says not to go to the door.
Right.
Only
So those are all good answers. So there have been situations that strangers that are trying to do harm to a kid has seen parents leave a house and knows that that kid's there by themselves. Sometimes, in one case, a guy went over and bought pizza from just a pizza place, knocked on the door and said he was a pizza delivery guy. He was like, hey, did you order a pizza? The kid's like, no, I didn't order pizza. He's like, well, I got to get rid of this pizza anyway. I'll just give it to you for free. Open the door. Okay, and the guy was just trying his best to get the door open to do something to that kid, okay? But what that guy's doing is he's understanding that authority-wise, in the sense of like, hey, I'm a pizza delivery guy. I'm not a harm at all. I'm trying to use authority to get myself into your house or get you to do something. Okay. So that's what authority is. So we're going to go over a few scenarios, and we want to see if you can actually pick out which ones that we're talking about. Okay. And Sammy's going to be helping us with it.
All right, guys, be looking at these traps that we just talked about, and we're going to act one out, and you guess it.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Hey, I was flying my drone out here, and it actually went off in the woods, and I cannot find it. And I was wondering if you could come over here and help me find it.
Well, first let me ask my parents.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, it's just right here. Like, it's okay. Just come with me over here.
Okay, guys, which trap do you think that was? Having fun, being famous, getting a job, bribing, emergency affection, threats, authority, or helping? Nope, not bribing. Good guess, though.
Helping?
It was helping. He said, come help me. And we're taught to be helpful, right? But in that situation, it was a stranger. She didn't know who he was. And he disregarded the fact that she said, let me go ask my parents, right? So that was a red flag. So you don't go with the stranger who is asking for your help, okay? That would be a big red flag. So good job, that's helping. Hey, listen, do you have a second? I have like a van full of groceries. I live right there. Can you just help me bring them up? In fact, you know what? If you do, I will pay you. Please, my back's sore and I just need some help getting these out. Okay, well don't worry about it, dude. I got cold stuff. Can you just help me real quick? I'll give you 5. 10? 15?
It's like bribing, but there's another one because it had money involved. getting a job, okay? Now, you might be seeing Samantha that she almost seems that she's being rude to some of us when they're doing these actions. We have taught Sammy that if someone approached her and was like, hey, will you, like, especially that could have been a real old lady with a cane or something that looks like she needs help, okay? And it would have almost been rude of Sammy walking away. It's like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. We have taught Sammy that if an adult approached her like that, and Sammy said to that person, hey, I need to go talk to my mom and dad about this. If that adult kind of pushes that away and ignores it or says, no, you don't have to do that, at that point, they are overstepping what we have told her, what we have taught her as her mom and dad. At that point, that's a red flag to us. There's like something's up, because if you asked her behind you right here, or any of these other adults, and said, if she asked you to do something at just some random place, and you said, I need to go talk to my mom and dad, very good chance she'd be like, that's fine, go talk to your mom and dad, because she's a respectful adult, okay? So if a stranger's doing that, they know you don't need to talk to your mom and dad. That's a red flag to you, okay? Something's up with that. You need to be mindful, okay, I need to be wise and figure this out. Okay, good job, Samantha.
Hey, are you Samantha? Okay, listen, I hate to tell you this, but your parents were in a wreck and they're at the hospital, and they sent me over here, and I need you to come with me, okay? We're going to go to the hospital. The passcode? Well, honey, she didn't tell me. I mean, they were hurt. They're in the ER. Just come on. I know you want to see them, okay? Well, I think she said purple unicorn? Who's the purple unicorn?
All right, what would that one be?
Emergency.
Emergency, okay. There have been strangers that's tried to get kids to come with them or do something with them by doing that exact scenario. Hey, something happened to your mom and dad. They're at the hospital. They sent me to come get you, okay? A lot of parents use this, and we use it too, as a passcode, okay? We have a word that we use for only emergencies. Sammy doesn't share it with anybody. We don't share it with anybody. It's our word. In case an emergency happened, that we have that now, that we could send someone, be like, hey, can you go get my kid? Like, because we have no one else. I trust you. I need you to go get my kid. Okay. I would recommend that you go home today, like, hey, mom and dad, I did this stranger danger talk, okay? And they did this one scenario about something happened to the kid's mom and dad, and they had a passcode. Can we come up with some kind of passcode, some code word that we can use? I recommend it not be a normal word, like banana, you know, like something simple. Make it a word that you rarely ever use, okay? Something that you never use, but that is easy to remember, okay? When you get into those phone apps and stuff, y'all listen up. Some adults, some strangers will actually create alias accounts, which means they'll take a picture of a little boy or a little girl and they'll pretend that they're 15 years old, okay? And they'll send tons and tons of friend requests to anybody they can find, and they will actually try to get personal information out of you. That could be your full name, that could be your address, right? It could be phone number, it could be stuff about your mom and dad, where your dad works, where your mom works, all that kind of stuff.
Where you go to school.
Yeah, where you go to school. If you don't know them, don't be sharing that stuff, okay? Sending pictures, okay? Be careful when you're sending pictures on Instagram. You know, if you're sending it, everybody's going to be able to see it. On Snapchat, if you're sending that specifically to some kind of message. Do not take inappropriate pictures, if you know what I'm talking about. So don't be taking photos and stuff. And don't meet up with people, okay? Lastly, good job, guys.
Thank you.